Alright, the Browns, Baker Mayfield suffered a partially torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. He hasn't missed practice. He's been wearing a harness during the game. Excuse me. He's been okay, but I don't think the Browns want okay. To make this team work, they end up losing a nail biter against the Chargers in a very close game, 47-42. You need Baker to be 100% to run this team. So, if he misses time, rest him. You have a veteran quarterback in Case Keenum, who's capable. You can go that route if you so choose to. Bucs linebacker Levante David suffered a low ankle sprain to miss a couple weeks. That takes him. He's now out. He's ruled out of the game versus Philadelphia, which is a big game for the Bucs to win if they can. Because the Cowboys face the Patriots. Who knows if they can win that game? You want to at least try to stay 2 games ahead of your opponent. Russel Wilson suffered a finger injury. It was actually his middle finger, in which he had 2 things happen to him. He ruptured his extended tendon, which basically means your finger, because like as he looked, his finger was like this. His finger, he could point like the other 3 up, but this one was like, I'm having to hold my thumb there to keep my finger from going up. But his finger's like this. He couldn't extend it. So basically, they had to sew, because he ruptured the tendon, so they had to sew back the tendon together. Then he dislocated his finger, so they had to fix the dislocation. That was big for him. So he's going to be out for a significant amount of time, anywhere between 4 to 6 to 4 to 8 weeks. And if you remember what today is the 1-year anniversary of Dak Prescott's compound fracture in his ankle. Now, when they talked to Dak Prescott, they said, Dak, do you think about it? And as much as he's like, well, I've tried to put it out of my mind, but you think about it every day. And I love how Dak talks. He brings you back to a point of, wow, that guy is so dedicated in what he's doing. Because he's like, it just showed me how much better I've become. Because as Dak always said throughout this whole process, as many people were trying to talk about the ankle and how is it doing and stuff, he was like, look, I'm fine. I believe I'm better after the ankle injury than I am before the ankle injury. And we all kind of like laughed at it, but it's true. He does look better. And we will talk about it in the recap of how much better he looks. Joe Burrow went to the hospital, believed to have had a throat contusion. He got hit in the throat. Either he got poked or something happened. He got poked in the throat. He played the whole game. He even played an overtime period because the Packers and the Bengals kept missing field goals to potentially tie and win the game. So, for the Bengals, you hope he's okay. And it's believed that he is okay. He was released from the hospital. So, everything should be okay. Jacksonville expected to sign former Bears second rounder, recently played for the Texans, wide receiver Anthony Miller. And you can see what we're going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars situation in a second, but you can see how good or how much they need receivers because they keep losing them. You need to bring some guys in. This is the way to bring a guy in. Now, at the press conference that Tom Brady had after the game, they saw on his hand. He had a cast around his thumb. And he said, no, it's fine, I'm fine. And Bruce Arians said, no, he's fine. To me, I think what happened was he kind of just got hit a little bit on the hand. Maybe he hit a helmet by accident. And that can happen, and it does. As long as he can play through it, which Tom Brady's played through injuries all the time, there's no reason to be worried about it. Now, the Urban Meyer situation. It's not like the John Gruden situation, which we'll talk about in another video. The Urban Meyer situation is very strange because no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen after. How far is it going to be before he's cut and fired? Who knows? All we know is he did not fly back with the team. There's video of him doing some inappropriate things. Then he went to talk to the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars about it. There's a whole situation. And that's the problem with the whole situation for Urban Meyer. I've watched football since I was 3 years old. I'm 20. I've never seen or heard a story about the coach not going on the plane for a non-personal reason. I've heard of coaches flying to another place because of a personal matter. I've heard players doing the same. I've heard an owner doing the same. I've heard those things. Never heard of a coach just not going on the plane and staying in the area where you lost for no reason. Never heard of that. And I continue to think in my head, there's no way that that's possible. Like, there's just no possible way. Like, you're the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the last year, you've had controversy. How are we supposed to believe that your intentions were good intentions when we saw what we saw? The inappropriate conduct and what ended up happening. We have no idea what's going to happen next. We don't know if he's going to be fired sooner rather than later. We don't know what's going to happen around the team. All we know is, if you're in Jacksonville, it's not a pleasant time to be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.